program was recorded at the annual SmartOps Forum held this year in Chicago. I'm pleased to welcome Editor-in-Chief of Supply Chain Brain, Russell Goodman.
Joining us for a conversation today on enterprise inventory optimization, a business perspective, is Martin Barkman, Executive Vice President, Global Sales and Marketing, SmartOps. Martin, welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
Martin, let's back up for just a moment and define our terminology here. What are we talking about when we say enterprise inventory optimization?
Enterprise inventory optimization is the process of determining the exact right amount of inventory to keep for every item at every location across your future planning horizon, such that by replenishing to that inventory target, you can maintain your desired customer service level with less capital tied up in unnecessary inventory.
Well, I guess the next question, now that we've defined EIO, is why now? Why do we need something like enterprise inventory optimization now?
The world of supply chain management, particularly related to inventory target setting, is only getting harder. And I say that because just in the last 10 years, the amount of global trade has doubled. This is because the population of the world is growing. The number of people that are buying goods and services is greater than ever before. Our supply chains are connected globally. You have suppliers, factories, and consumer markets all over the world. So if we thought supply chain management was hard before, it's only going to get worse. Every product is now governed by a global supply chain to the point where when a catastrophe happens or a disruption happens halfway across the globe, you feel it, and you feel it right away. Enterprise inventory optimization is the first commercially available program, software technology, and planning process that factors in these complexities and uncertainties to the point where you can now begin to plan and govern and execute your supply chain much more effectively.
Why should companies look to this particular solution? Walk us through that if you would. But I guess before we answer that, let me just ask you this. Is your solution something that is ideal for every type of company?
In some ways, yes. Now look, the reality is if you're a company that makes a product, at the end of the day, that product is your lifeblood. You have to sell that product for hopefully a profit. How much of that product you make and how much to keep of it and where to keep it is called inventory. And that's what you have to, as a leader and as a supply chain manager, figure out. Now, we find that there are several vertical industries that are a great fit and really need this type of solution. Consumer packaged good companies, chemical companies, distribution companies, high-tech companies, just to name a few. Take industrial manufacturing, same thing. These are companies whose supply chains are dependent upon having the right amount of inventory in order to meet the sales goals.
Let's step into the shoes of the typical SmartOps customer, if there is such a person. Tell us, how does success look like, or from the perspective of that customer? How do we determine what success is?
We travel the world preaching the gospel, sharing this program. And one of the consistent things we find is that managers have to constantly, supply chain managers have to constantly balance and figure out how to meet the needs of marketing from a sales standpoint, of finance from a working capital standpoint, and of manufacturing from a capacity standpoint, all their needs simultaneously. Marketing wants higher customer service levels, and don't you dare reduce inventory and threaten service. Finance says, look, I'm going to slash your operating plan for working capital by 10% unless you show me data that that's going to cause a problem. And manufacturing typically wants predictable, long runs and as few changeovers as possible. This is hard. If your job is to figure out how much inventory to keep to meet service level goals, you're often balancing conflicting priorities. And this becomes personal. You sit in meetings where people are saying, look, we need to do more marketing promotions and have enormous amounts of inventory to protect and make sure we hit those service level goals, while the manufacturing guys are saying, look, we can't do that. It's just not possible. So the people we meet and the people that embrace this application win personally. They start to, for the first time, bring data to these conversations with this type of application. So when somebody says, hey, what if my demand spikes 10%, but my suppliers become more reliable, then what's the implication on inventory? Now they can come to the table for the first time with real answers. And whatever path is chosen, you can operationalize those and know that the organization is executing the plan as it was originally conceived. In some organizations, this is called sales and operations planning, which has been a tricky process. Enterprise inventory optimization has proven to be a key enabler of sales and operations planning.
Well, Martin, this has been fascinating and valuable information. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you, Russell.
Martin Barkman, SmartOps, speaking with us today about enterprise inventory optimization, a business perspective. Thank you for watching.